Right, what is going on, guys? 1.5 weeks out, and we are taking you through a push session today. So we'll walk you through that, tell you what we're doing, so on and so forth at this point in prep. And we'll probably make this one a little bit more like a contest prep focus. So maybe talk you through like kind of peak week after, what the kind of idea is, how we're going to kind of approach that, because obviously it is next week. Anything you want to?
No, this is obviously like our first video as well since I've had COVID. So
Josh had COVID.
If anyone's like really observant and they notice that my performance is not quite as optimal as what it normally is, it's because I've had COVID. So yeah,
already making excuses.
Excuse straight in.
Getting COVID and almost dying is not an excuse to lift less in your training sessions. Yeah. That's tip number 1.
Friday.
There you go. Add it into the vlog.
Yeah.
We're planning out.
We're planning out the logistics of show number 1 and 2, and it's fucking shite.
So warming up, doing a bit of shoulder mobility stuff to start with. We'll then go into a bit of kind of like chest activation stuff, just get some blood flowing up the body, in the lats, in the chest, and everything that we're going to be using to press with basically, whether that be something to stabilise the press and movement or obviously actually the chest itself. Well, I don't know how well we're going to have to like shower into it. So as you can see, a lot of the stuff to begin with it's not to failure, it's just kind of like warm-up sets, just to prime the body for what's about to go down in the actual session. So the last kind of primary movement is going to be a dumbbell row, just chest forward, just nothing heavy, just something light, just get a bit of blood flow into the traps, into the back, and then we're going to go into the first exercise, which will be a dumbbell press. So, one thing I also do is a bit of kind of like lower body mobility before going into the pressing, just because obviously you are driving through your legs are stabilising your body. It also helps as well when you're squatting someone, because you're used to getting down. So what I do for maybe like 1 or 2 of the first warm-up sets, obviously you build up to the working set. You don't want to fatigue yourself, it's just doing small reps, so like 5 or 6 reps each way, up until the point where you're ready to do your proper set. I'll put my feet up for some of the warm-up sets, just to find if I can stabilise my body without using my feet for some of the initial warm-up sets. Then when I do put my feet down, I'm like fully stable. Okay, so it's the last warm-up set, just doing 1 rep of 50 seconds. Yeah, one more. Go. Yeah. Come on, Jay. Okay, so that is exercise number 1 done. So we both did 2 working sets. The first one was a little bit heavier for lower reps, and the second was kind of like a bit of a back off set, higher reps. Now we are going on to an incline stride. I think it's what's it called, like a leverage press. It's basically an incline press, but it's really, really good. Yeah, let's go.
What you're witnessing here is Jay being very particular with how he has the machines. There we go, more excuses.
So you will probably notice on this that we have got a pad that we're putting in front of it, and basically to align our shoulders with the kind of pivot point up at the top. With the pad so small, there's a specific kind of chest line. If you don't put a pad there, you end up using more of your front delt, which obviously is what we've got here. We want our chest to be up, we want to be aligned, so it's getting your chest on. So to kind of finish off the push day, after the chest movements, move on to some lateral down stuff. We've got lateral raises, we've got a cuffed cable lateral, and then we'll finish with a little bit of triceps. But these kind of like sets here, obviously like, you know, less kind of intensive, I guess, and a little bit less fatiguing. So we have the bulk of the session which is focused on the chest, which is kind of more fatiguing movements, then obviously move on to these more, you know, more isolated movements that are focused on specific little areas. Right, so that's the session wrapped up. Before we finish off this video, just by touching you. Kind of touching you through. I was going to say like touching you through peak week, but that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Talking you through a bit of peak week chat. So, in terms of the show, obviously it is going to be on Saturday. We may also be doing a show on Sunday as well. So there's two shows on the weekend. UK FBA is the first one, and there's a PCA the next day, which we're probably going to do as well. So it'll be like back-to-back shows. Obviously, going from here to there, it's like 1.5 weeks. So for me, pretty much like the way that I've like mentally set myself out for this prep is that I'm purely kind of aiming for the ones that the finals and the qualifiers ones that are early on, would just be kind of like practice runs or just kind of, I'm just going to kind of flow into them as I am in prep. So I'm not really going to be doing anything special for peak week. As we get kind of just before the show, so obviously the first show's on Saturday, probably going to back off training a little bit towards the end of the week, and then I'll pull back on cardio and steps and stuff as well, just give my body a bit of a rest, let inflammation go down, because the more you're doing in terms of like expenditure and stress you put on the body, the more inflammation will get built up, and it kind of like hides a lot of the kind of like definition, and when your body's stressed out, it doesn't look quite as good. So going to be kind of like de-stressing my body then the next week. I will be having a little bit more food towards the end of the week, and then that'll be pretty much it. It won't be anything drastic, nothing crazy. It'll just be like another week of prep. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, literally gonna repeat what Jake said. The first two shows are pretty much pit stops along the way to the finals, the ones that really do matter. So yeah, training is normal, rest days is normal, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then Thursday and Friday we'll just pull back on the volume and maybe the intensity slightly in the sessions. Food wise, going to keep it the same, and then probably just have a couple of higher meals on the Friday, because there's no point, well, to me, there's no point doing like a huge carb load for this show and then have to go in a crazy deficit for the following 2 weeks after that, because you've gained 2.5 kilos, whatever, over the weekend. It's just a pit stop. The ones that matter, the ones after. Yes. All right, yeah, we do give a shit about these ones, but the main goal, the only goal is qualification. If anything else more comes of that, like say we get a place in, or we win a show, or win the overall, you never know. They're just bonuses. Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, like what a lot of people mistake-wise make during a peak week is, firstly, they're not lean enough by the time they get to a peak week. So like whatever you do then doesn't really make any difference anyway, because if you're not ready, you're not ready. Like a peak week is not going to change that. So that's kind of like mistake number one. Number two is obviously just doing something too drastic during peak week. Like if you are ready in peak week, which you should be, then doing something drastic has more chance of making you look worse than better. So the best kind of way to go into peak week is just treat it as a week where you want to de-stress yourself and come into the show confident, like de-stressed, obviously like hydrated, filled up with food. You don't want to be kind of like you're super hungry, super stressed out, mentally, physically. You just want to be kind of nice and chilled. So that's kind of the idea of a peak week, and that's how you will have a successful peak week. If you try and do something too crazy, like have a massive carb load, or try and stop water and mess around with sodium, salt,
all this fat loading stuff.
Your body's smart. Like it kind of knows what you've been doing for the last kind of like months. So if you try and mess around with too much when you're not, super peeled, like when you're absolutely peeled to the bone and you are completely, ready, which very, very, very few people ever really get to, then you can kind of mess around with those sort of things to kind of like really dial in. But at this point, like it's not really worth it. And if you're watching this video, you're probably not like a pro who's super clued up on what they're doing. So the idea of like doing too much during peak week is not a smart move.
Yeah. So that's it for pretty much today's video, isn't it, Jake? Anything else you want to touch on?
Yeah, so that is
touch any more people?
No, I won't touch any more people. May just kind of like show you a few like physique updates, but aside from that, we will catch you in the next one, which will probably be next week when we're a few days out.
Will probably actually be in peak week.
Yeah, we will
try. This is exciting.
At the end of the video, obviously, if you enjoyed it, be sure to like it, subscribe, all the other stuff. The most important thing though is if you are watching this video, please make sure that you share it with your friends. So tag us in your story, share the video. Obviously, it really, really helps grow the channel. We're a small channel, we only just started. Obviously, we're going to put a lot more kind of time and effort into making these videos frequently like we already have. So anyone who shares it with their mates and stuff like that is always really appreciated by us. Right, catch you in the next one. Jesus. I try to think about how to do my front double bicep.
That's what I've been working. So I've got to do front double bicep.
Mine's more about like my legs than anything else. Like what my legs.
I know that one that you're doing. That one.
Yeah.
That one.
Because then I can like
I'd go for the front because you get more of a contraction on your
Yeah, I
quads.
find my hips like twist too much. So, like I want my hips as sideways as possible because like my waist is smaller to the side than the front.
Yeah, it's like glutes.
Oh! Hang on. I'm gonna get that on video.
They're not fully in, but you know,
Something. There's some lines there, Jake.